I really do need a clapper. Alright, y'all. Hear ye, hear ye. Oh, let me take this off. I was recording some promos for Out on Film for the events that we have coming up, so hopefully you will join us August 1st and 2nd for the first ever Real Resistance. We're screening Lonesome Cowboy as part of commemoration for the 55th anniversary of the Ansley Mall raids, which prompted an entire queer movement here in the Southeast. As well as the following next day, we're having a summit, Art is Activism, Atlanta Pride in association with Out on Film. Where is it? Yay! We've gotten a grant to make this happen for the community, so we're doing it at Agnes Scott. That is August 1st and August 2nd, as well as Out on Film starts in now 2 months. That's wild. That's crazy. I really hope to see you there. We are planning some incredibly exciting things, as well as our second Queer Film Summit. So let me fix my bra straps and let's get into it. Okay. All right, y'all. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I personally love presenting incredibly femme. High femme, as we call it in the queer community. You know, the heels, painted lips, a face, hair did, nails fly and everything. My nails were not flying the other night and I had on gloves to cover them up. And also, not everyone in the queer community likes to present high femme. That's just how I like to express my gender. And if you need some refreshers, there's always a genderbread person, there it is, where it breaks it down. What is gender, what is sex, what is sexuality, what is attraction, and what is gender expression. I always love using that as a teaching aid whenever I'm explaining trans and queer and non-binary issues. But anyways, I love presenting high femme. And in the 6 years since transitioning, it has been an overwhelming positive experience for me. My only regret is that I did not start sooner, but then I wouldn't have had the journey that I've had. Things happen for a reason. They happen when they're meant to, and we take from those events the lessons we're meant to take. And so the other night, I went to see my dearest friend Jason perform in the closing night of Shablamilton, a drag rendition of Hamilton. And it's really kind of a hard concept to explain, as Jason's brother Josh relayed to me how Jason tried to explain it, but again, you can't explain it, you can only experience it. And you're like, oh, everyone's in drag. No, everyone's not in drag. They are performing Hamilton. They're like, oh, they're just doing like blah, blah, blah. No, they're performing Hamilton. Some of them are in drag, some of them are not, but they're singing live and also giving face and serving. We had a drag performer as Dochi. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. It was incredible. Again, you can only experience it. So hopefully you'll be in Atlanta next summer and hopefully they will bring it back. But Jason is not drag. Jason is a classically trained performer and stage actor, and he excels in musicals. I wish he were in more productions because he honestly deserves to be on every stage every night. But then his ego would get too big, and where would we be? We'd be with me. Anyways, in the 6 years since I've transitioned, I can't count how many people I've crowned. I can count how many titles I've bestowed as Duchess for service to the queerdom. It's probably around 30. And typically I try and reserve Duchess, Duchess, Duke for trans and non-binary people, or it had to be extraordinary service to me personally that benefited the queerdom. And Duke X, that is my non-binary title for Duchess and Duke. I have a whole list of them because this is my jam. Anyways, Earls, Marchionesses, Comitexes, and so on are for those who've done remarkable things for queer folks in general. Not to mention the countless random knightings. A security lady complimented my outfit while I was getting into my car, and I pulled out my mini knighting sword right then and there and bestowed upon her a tiara and a knighthood. Y'all, I'm ridiculous. Don't encourage me. So the other night, I got to not only see my friend Jason's show, but also witness the real world impact apparently I have, which is wild. It sounds like fun and games, but in a world that actively hates and tries to erase trans and non-binary slash gender expansive people, it sometimes feels radical, in opposition to. The first time someone in a play disclosed to me that they were in the process of transitioning, number one, you never realize the effect that just being visibly you can have. And so the fact that they felt comfortable confiding in me, I felt honored. And then number two, the first time they disclosed to me this, I sent them a tiara and a letter's patent with their name printed on it. It was the first document they had that reflected who they were. Their emotional response is precisely why I do it. Even if I keep the outside wrapped in giggles and laughs, affirming one's identity is sacred. It says, I see you. I acknowledge you, even if those around you may not. My reason for donning a tiara came from self-care, of feeling so incredibly dysphoric in the midst of therapy, trying to figure myself out while actively loathing who I saw in the mirror. At a breaking point, I bought myself a tiara on Amazon after a horrible therapy session. Since I was young, my father has called me Crown Prince. I am his firstborn, and probably because of this, I've had a lifelong fascination with monarchy and titles and crowns and tiaras. Disney certainly did not help. And it was said with such affection, but it carried the responsibility he hoped I would uphold. If something happened to him, I was to take care of the family. I mean, I know, like a 15-year-old, but and also he kind of brought back that tradition from the Middle East, so we're not even going to get to that whole thing. But anyways, in that name lies the joy he had holding me for the first time. A lifetime of watching me grow, every joy, every pain, every stumble in our relationship. It's complicated like any relationship, but underneath it all is love. My parents, we may have all the difficulties, but there's so much love there. So when I bought a tiara and put it on, for a brief moment, I felt happy. I mean, as I say around town, it's really hard to feel bad about yourself when you're wearing a tiara. Eventually that progressed to buying myself a large azure-cut diamond ring, because one cannot simply wear a tiara all the time, especially if a crown princess wants to go incognito. Don't encourage me all. So I call it my be nice to myself ring, a totem I could wear everywhere as a reminder and a promise that I would love myself just as much as I love my partner. And that is why it sits next to my relationship ring, a promise to myself and a promise to my partner. Love myself so that I can love others. It's hard loving myself. Loving myself is not always giggles and tiaras. It's not shits and giggles all the time, no. Sometimes it's crying. Sometimes it's self-loathing in the mirror. Sometimes it's forcing myself to say one positive thing about myself, though that's easier now that I'm back on hormones. It's recognizing my emotions and taking responsibility for them, especially the hard ones. It's realizing that just because I'm feeling low doesn't mean I get to mistreat my partner, customers, or friends. Although with customers, sometimes they're just like really stupid and not even gonna go there. Sometimes loving myself means sitting in my discomfort because my body needs to feel what it feels in order to heal. The body doesn't differentiate types of pain, it only registers negative stimulus. Originally, I came on here to write about seeing my friend Juniper the other night, also at Jason's show, a person I'd bestowed the non-binary title of Duchess for their service to the queerdom as simply an extraordinary stage manager. And it was an emotional reunion of sorts. I had not seen them since we did Malicious Compliance together 2 years ago. At that point, 2 years ago, as I have well said many, many times, bra strap, I was on the downward trend of coming off hormones for fertility, and they made me feel seen. Juniper made me feel seen and cared for, especially on stage, helping me remember my lines in the closing monologue. They gave me someone to react to, and I mean, they made me feel like a goddess. I was portraying Athena, but still. I came on to write and talk about the impact we leave on people, often without realizing the magic we're spreading in the world. While waiting for Jason to come out from backstage at City Winery, a woman also waiting for another cast member caught my eye and just blurted out, "You're beautiful!" to me. I know. Meanwhile, I mean, yes, I had been admiring my own beauty in the car, but then I was also critiquing it after seeing a photo of myself, and I was not feeling beautiful. I was like, oh my god, who is that bitch? So I was not in a stop someone and tell me I'm pretty kind of way, but her unprompted response reminded me, be nice to myself. And that's also the wonderful thing. It's not really about me spreading the magic, it's others. It's about you and how we spread compliments to each other. And, also too, Black women have an almost preternatural unspoken bond. We will compliment another cis freely. It's like, ma'am, love everything that's going on there, especially them lips. Not me personally, I have no lips on, but anyways, I've rambled for a bit, and I didn't even get into this past week where I'm appearing on a podcast to advocate for LGBTQ issues in nursing with the International Association of Forensic Nurses in their podcast. Queer Dystopian Short is screening at both the Macon Film Festival and Out South Film Festival in Durham, North Carolina next month. My incredibly talented friend, Crystal Jen Kim's film Threadbeat Dad got into Holly Schwartz and is screening at the historic Grauman's Chinese Theater, which I wish I could afford to go to because I have, I don't know, a pretty substantial part in the film as the host of the Ava Show, interviewing our main character. Crystal has written a beautiful and loving film about complicated relationships, both with ourselves and our parents. And so with that, I leave you of, well, I don't really know what I'm leaving you with, but I'm going to stop recording now and go do something else. So with that, thank you for listening, and until next time. Where's my pin to close it out? Here we go. All right. Love you. Bye.